Hi everybody, it's Grace. Welcome to Eating Peace this week. I was just putting together notes yet again for an upcoming Eating Peace immersion, which is 3 days in Newark, California. It's just south of San Francisco. So if you know anybody in that area, or if you live close, or if you don't live close, somebody's just told me that they're flying from Toronto, Canada to attend that retreat. It's so exciting. Then let them know, please. Share either this video or share my website, workwithgrace.com, and check out the things that have to do with eating peace on my website. But I wanted to share with any of you today, no matter where you live, this is not about just being able to come to the retreat, that there's something we do in the retreat that's extremely powerful, that most of us don't take the time to do when we are sitting in our everyday lives. You know, I've talked about journaling, being in touch with the inner part of yourself, getting clear about very deep intimacy with you, what is actually happening on the inside of you, and how much that heals when it comes to compulsive behavior of any kind, including eating. Right now I happen to be teaching a telecourse that I teach once or twice a year on money. Nothing to do with food and eating, but have you ever noticed we almost feel the same way about money sometimes as we do around food and eating, only just with a little bit of a different twist, like, you know, I don't have enough of it, I need more, I can't do this well enough, there's something wrong with me that I don't have more. You know, in the case of food and eating, it's more like there's something wrong with me because I don't have this squared away right, I don't have the balance, I'm not willing to do with less. But there's some of the same sort of compulsive, like deep suffering, anxiety, sadness, concern, despair, even like a depressed feeling. And right in the middle of this money class, I had a few things that happened with large bills and a situation where it felt like my cash flow was suddenly coming to this weird screeching halt. And I was kind of like, oh my gosh, what's happening here? And I'm in the middle of this money class. And I wanted to share with you today because I feel like it's so powerful and important that I myself even entered this place for a day where I felt like I had the thoughts starting to clamor and rise up. You don't know how to do this. You can't handle this. Obviously, you haven't, set enough in place to be able to take care of surprises. You're not good enough, and all the feelings that go along with that. Well, they're like little children inside of us that are screaming for some attention, to either be relaxed or to calm down or see what else it is that they have to say. I was reminded of this incredible story called Hansel and Gretel. I grew up hearing it the original way because my parents had this old beautiful book of Grimm's fairy tales, and the original way is not like a lightened up version of the fairy tale with a happy, purely happy ending, or avoiding some of the things that happen that are difficult in the middle of it. It's rather bleak. In the story, there are a stepmother and a father who have 2 kids, and they are so poor, everyone is starving to death, that they decide to banish the children to the deep, dark woods. Take them out into the woods and lose them there. And the kids, once they are woken up into the woods and they're there in this dark place, they find a house made of gingerbread that they can actually eat and no longer be starving. It reminded me, as I reflected on it recently, of like banishing the inner, immature, desperate, screaming side of you, the part that is filled with craving sometimes, that wants, and wants to grab, and you really feel like you can't handle it, or you're not okay unless you get this thing, money or food or love or whatever it is you're reaching for. And that often the way we will work with that kind of immature, childish sort of drive is to banish it to the woods. Let's just get rid of it and have it be destroyed. Well, the house that these children are eating, which is sort of like being in the middle of the binge or a compulsion or a drunken stupor. They're just consuming themselves. They're just consuming. They've been starving and now they're consuming. That house happens to be run by an evil witch who in turn wants to consume them. So this witch is, oh good, here they are coming to eat. I'm going to cook them and eat them in the oven. Kind of horrifying for a little kid to be reading about. It's like very scary. But in a way it sort of speaks to a true part of the human condition and this inner child place in us. In the end, even in the original story, the children sort out how to put the evil witch in the oven and burn her, and they become free and they make their way back to the parents, and they are welcomed back in, and all is well and in balance from that point forward. But these children I think of as all these thoughts and these uncomfortable emotional feelings that have to do with thinking, I can't handle it, I am parentless, I don't have any guidance, I don't have any structure, I'm not going to be able to make it. I don't stop eating, I don't stop consuming, I can't stop reaching, and seeking. This eating peace is about applying the deepest spiritual principles to a compulsive behavior. Even thoughts about needing more money or getting it together in any area of your life. If we sink down and actually, instead of banishing those children, we begin to write them down, keeping a journal, and then being able to sit with those beliefs like I can't handle it. So I was feeling like I don't have enough. I can't handle it. I need to get more money for these surprise events things that happen, where there's something breaks down in the house and it turns out to be thousands of dollars, or your car's no longer working, or all these various things that happen. Health conditions sometimes happen in people's lives. And I was feeling myself like I can't make it. There's nobody else. I was entering a complete sense of separation, pure separation. I am all alone on this little island, and the world is a difficult place to be. And you have to buck up and send the children to the dark woods so that you can keep moving forward and at least have enough for yourself. It's a very small view. It's a small vision. It's difficult too. The opposite, if I turn that thought around, if I could question and sit in the question, who would you be if you couldn't have this thought that you are all alone, that you have to do it by yourself, you can't handle it, and you're always going to be driven by this not enough feeling? Who would you be if you couldn't have that belief about yourself? What if it was okay to have these little kids that seem like they need to eat and you need to take care of them, these thoughts, these feelings within? What if it was okay to just take them around with you and they were part of you, part of being human, part of being alive in the world, part of maturity, to show up for yourself, to take care of these inner people, inner little thoughts and these fears about being separate and not connected with the greater world or ever being able to find support? Who would you be with that story? What if you turned that around and you said, everything that happens today is happening for me, not to me? What if I'm not a victim here? It seems like things are kind of quiet and I'm pretty alone and I'm not really sure what to do and I don't have enough of this and I have too much of this other thing. But what if that could all change today? What if in an instant I could just see things a little bit differently? What if it came to me, who I know, that I might be able to ask for support? Or what would happen if I just sat down and wrote for 10 minutes straight without stopping all my greatest and deepest fears, and then looked at them one by one and asked myself, who would I be if I couldn't have this thought? What would it be like if it was okay for this thing to happen that I'm so scared of? What if it was okay to be alone, but not separate? What if I could relax even if this is happening? What I notice is that in a story, even in a fairy tale, there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. And some of these keep on going, of course. We're still alive. We're still living a story. But if we make friends with those children, those crying children, within at a very deep level, spiritual level if you want to call it, we might get to join them back with the parents and feel like there's something here that's connected and we can feel home instead of separate. So I encourage you to write in your journal with your most ridiculous, silly, childish, babyish, 4-year-old thoughts about what you think you don't have enough of in your life and what you have too much of. Too much and not enough. Explore it, write it down, and then bring it out of the dark woods into the light. Inquire, self-inquiry. Do the work of Byron Katie on these thoughts. You might be amazed at what you find. And if you lived the turnarounds, if you just felt what it feels like in your whole body to be in the turnaround, who would you be without your story? All right. Take care. Come join me in California, April 15th, 16th, and 17th. Look on my website, write Grace at Work with Grace if you have questions. I would love to see you there. It's limited to, I think only 14 people can join. So write me soon. It'll be a wonderful experience. You'll get some of these principles rooted in you, be able to take them with you into your life. Okay, take care everybody. Bye-bye.